is, isn't it?
Welcome everyone to the May 13th City of Griffin Board of Commissioners meeting. We will start with an invocation by Commissioner Holberg and a pledge of allegiance by Commissioner Ward.
Please join us in prayer. Father, we're here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work in the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll start by recognizing Jacob Taylor, Systems Administrator with the Information Technology Department, as the April 2014 Strongest Link Award recipient.
Picture ready.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I always take it an honor to be standing up here, and especially when it has to deal with presenting the strongest link in the chain, because to me it's a special award that when you got employees that are dedicated and go above and beyond, it's good always to recognize those employees. And tonight I'd like to recognize Jacob for being the strongest link in the chain for April. And I'm really going to let Mr. Cotton, who submitted Jacob, kind of explain why Jacob is standing up here tonight. So if you will, Gibb, go ahead.
The reason I wrote Jacob up for it was he put in so much effort into not just making sure the system was right as a whole, but making sure it worked for the officers out in the field and that it was better than what we had before. And all the little niceties that we wanted to put in place from the get-go, he made sure that he came through on every single one of them, such as the GCIC integration and the hotspot tunneling back to the main building and the servers here, and the way that 911 handles the calls and the dispatching. He followed through on every single one of those things, and I think that was just above and beyond what was originally tasked of him, and I think that was great.
Thanks, Gibb. I'd like to add to that Jacob came to us 2 years, a little over 2 years ago. This past be 3 years this October, and I tell you, as soon as he came in, he's hit the ground and he hasn't slowed down. He's got more energy, and he wears me out watching him. I think back and I thought, maybe it's the years. But anyway, but also, I would like to say the city is very fortunate to have the credentials that they have on board. Jacob being one of them. He's MCSE certified, he's Cisco certified, and he went to Atlanta. And he's also fiber certified, and of course Gibb here does the fiber terminations when we need to terminate the fiber here in the city. So he's a very key player within our group, and he's very dedicated to his job. I can't say enough about Jacob because he definitely is an employee that we are so lucky to have on board. And with that, Jacob, I'd like to present you the strongest link in the chain for April. We thank you.
Secure him to his desk.
We reward them by the pound.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Taylor, for all the hard work you do. Next, we have reviewed financials for March. Marcus will address.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. First item up is cash balance report. Nice and boring. Any questions on the cash balance? Okay. Revenue detail. Any questions on revenues, distribution? Okay. Local option sales tax, any questions on that document? Where we're showing that we're trending as projected, SPLOST is coming in, and looks like we're about 82% on collections there.
On the LCI project, Dr. Keller, we have $3 million budgeted. How much do you think we'll be able to leverage with that $3 million at this point? Have you got any ballpark numbers yet?
Marcus, it shows that we already are at what we projected in this plot. Is that correct?
Yes, that's
So
correct.
anything else that comes in as a bonus?
Yes.
Very good.
All right. Revenue and expense by fund. Do you have any questions about within any of the funds? We're tracking as we've projected. We've been very conservative with some of the expenditures. What you'll be seeing over the next 2 months, perhaps in July, if we can put it all together, is we're compiling all these projects that have been initiated or postponed for some reason or another, and we're going to amend those projects out of the 14 budget, and we will then amend them in to the 15 budget. So that will be coming forth in the next, in July.
It's good to see property taxes equaled last year's.
Yeah.
Projections, though, for next year may not be quite, a little bit off, but we're still on target. Okay, the quarterly status report, I know that's a favorite, and everybody seems to enjoy that one. Do you have any questions about where we're headed? I know that, generally speaking, the motor vehicle tax is clicking away for now. And after the last webinar that we attended with the GMA and the Georgia Department of Revenue, there is some indication that over the next 2 years that the motor vehicle, the new TAVT, may level off some. And there, in about 10 years' time, the old TAVT, or the old motor vehicle tax, will fade away. So we have about a 10-year transition, 9 years now, left. So we're slowly programming that out, and over the next 2 years, we'll be leveling off on the title ad valorem side.
So they didn't indicate doing some sort of percentage change up at the state level with any immediate time frame?
Not in the immediate time frame, the 2016 arena. They're looking at balancing the revenues for those areas that are not achieving enough revenue. On the motor vehicle side, they're going to bring up the percentages on those areas. And the communities that are experiencing a windfall currently, they're looking to possibly adjust those percentages down. So that's why I'm preempting or alluding to that we may see a decrease in the motor vehicle tax, the title ad valorem, in the next 2 years.
Yeah. That's a shame they look at depressing that, given that they really have no concept of how that's going to transition over that 10-year time frame between the two. So
Correct.
To prematurely do that would just stifle us. But at least they're not changing that percentage with the statement of we're getting too much.
Correct. So, no other questions?
Don't look for it to break in our favor.
I'm sorry, say again?
Don't look for it to break in the local
No.
government favor.
No, right now, we're sitting very well with that title ad valorem. 2016, though, that may begin to taper off.
Which again, just offsets the loss. I mean, for a big chunk of it, it's just offsetting loss. So, not to be misconstrued as doing well overall, it's a matter of maintaining that balance.
Correct. Okay. Any other questions on that? One other report that we did publish again this year is the popular annual financial report. And I believe I may have placed one in your box, your inbox.
Yes.
And we anticipate getting the award again this year for the document. Do you have any questions?
I thought it was a very well-done article. I have it on my coffee table as well.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Well, that's a compilation of all the staff and the team members and the accounting department. We've had a great deal of input this year on the creativity side and in cleaning up the data.
Any other questions for Mark? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
It's nice and boring. Thank you. No surprises.
All right, we'll move on to citizen comments. At this time, the chairperson opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Do I have anyone? Bob, you feel like getting up? No? Okay, anyone on my right side that would like to come? All right, seeing nobody, we will move on. We do not have any public hearings, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. Consider approval minutes workshop April 22nd and minutes of regular scheduled meeting April 22nd.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve both the minutes and the workshop for April 22nd.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your hand. All right,
I'll abstain.
so we have 5-0-1. Moving to the regular agenda. Item number 4, appoint Commissioners Joanne Todd and Rodney McCord to represent the city at the MEAG annual meeting on July 14th through 16th at Amelia Island, and appoint Joanne Todd to be the city's voting delegate for the MEAG Board of Directors elections, with Bill Bosch named as the alternate voting delegate.
I move we so appoint.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, unanimous. Item number 5, consider approval to upgrade accounting, budgeting, and procurement software, currently Microsoft Dynamics Great Plains, to the latest Microsoft platform, Microsoft Dynamics AX. Approval to amend the City of Griffin's fiscal year 2013-2014 operating capital budget by appropriating $367,000 towards software purchase. Approve the transfer of $200,000 to general fund operating cash from electric capital improvement that scraps metal cash account, and reallocate $167,000, $75,000 from the Department of Administrative Services, and $92,000 from Information Technology, and amend the budget accordingly. Marcus Schwab will withdraw.
I'm going to move we approve, but I want to discuss this a few minutes.
Second with the discussion.
Okay,
I was somewhat perplexed and taken by the dollar amount of this. I thought just a few years ago when we upgraded software, we'd spent a pretty goodly sum of money, and to have to spend this much again so soon seemed to me a little inordinate. Can you enlighten me a little? This is beyond what I would have thought by some amount, and I'm guessing it's beyond what you thought if we had to go to the scrap fund to help pay for it.
Yes, sir. Yes, on all accounts. The software that was purchased was through Cogsdale, and its primary core application was to serve the utility billing component. The financial acumen, or the financial side of the house that does the accounts, the balance sheets, the income and expense reports, that side of the functionality was merely an add-on. It was an afterthought. It was not the core product. They just have the basic elements to do a couple of debits and credits and to make the utility billing system function and bring some of that information across. What the financial side of the house does not do is produce the reports that go before you in a manner that's efficient, productive, and it also does not provide a budget aspect, does not provide for automating the procurement aspect. In other words, when someone enters a requisition online, then there's an electronic flow of information that can occur with such a system as what we're proposing. Currently, there is no process. It's all manual. It's on a piece of paper. And there are no live checks and balances to confirm that certain activity has actually occurred or been authorized in the system. The budget process, it's on an Excel file, Excel sheet. Angela spends countless hours to compile that data and to get it to the point where the city manager can then review that information. Well, we spent quite a few weeks compiling that information, and last week, when we thought we had numbers, they changed again because the links broke within Excel. We have a $100 million budget. The entities that I've worked with typically have around a 10% allocation towards technology. We're a $100 million budget. We've allocated about 1.5 towards the city as a whole for technology initiatives. What we're asking for is to provide a more robust financial side that will provide efficiencies within the department, better control on cash and expenditures, better control on the budget, and now that we're squeezing more and more out of our finances, out of the revenues and out of the expenditures, we're as lean as we can get, there's an opportunity for more improvement with better controls in place. We don't have those controls, which we desperately need.
I guess I was a little naive in thinking that when we went through that, we had more of this, but I also think I remember and a couple of add-on modules with work orders and POs and some other things. So here's my basic question. Do we have it now, or am I going to be surprised to get another year with another big chunk, or is this going to pretty much do it?
The challenge is this. We can take third-party vendors and attach them with either duct tape or bolts and get them to link into the system. And we can pay for those at a smaller cost, but in the long run, and this is the number crunching that we did. We looked at the cost of buying third-party products and then having to pay the customization fees to get these things to work seamlessly. Then when we added in the cost of all the effort and the professional services and the consultants, in the end, we were going to spend a whole lot more in the long run than to take an existing product that we have now. We have Microsoft Dynamics Great Plains, and upgrade this to a Microsoft Dynamics AX version, which is an improvement on the Great Plains acumen, the financial system. It will automate our purchase requisitions down to the product level. So if we want to buy 5 police cars, we can key in 5 units on the police cars. And then when the purchase order comes in and says, no, we only want to buy 4, we can approve 4 and then lock the other one down and have better controls on that money so that in case the board decides to use that money for something else, we can then take that item, liquidate that, and move it over to another project.
Okay, before we get too deep in the tutorial, I'm going back to my question.
Sorry. I can speak forever on this.
Is this chunk of money going to do what we need to do pretty much in IT, or another year or two down the road we're going to see another big number like this, or is this going to get us past that?
The 367 is an estimate, an initial estimate from the consultants that we spoke with through Microsoft to arrange for licensing. We're having challenges with trying to embark into an enterprise solution on the licensing. We're right now working on a limited volume license program with Microsoft. The core product itself is not that, it doesn't have that high of a price tag. What starts running into the dollars is the services that are needed to get it programmed to be able to function and get all these products attached. So the licensing, you're asking, is there more money in down the road? We do have programmed into next year's budget an additional 100 in case we encounter issues that are not readily apparent today. We have, yes, sir.
Is this something that we have to do before June 30th, that we could put this into next year's budget so that we can get the big picture of all the other capital projects that are being proposed for next year as we...
The challenge with that is that there's not enough resources in the current proposed budget in fiscal year 15 to address this need.
But you've gone through the scrap sales, I understand that, so...
But that's what I'm saying, the other capital projects, so
Right.
maybe something else isn't needed if this is that important. And as we look at the overall budget, in terms of what your income projections are, what perks do we need to cut out in the budget process?
The
Well-
challenge that will be there is Mr. Smith and the directors have pared it down quite a bit, and there may not be that opportunity.
Well, I'm willing to go along because I
Yes,
respect
sir.
your judgment, but I say I'm a little flummoxed by this huge number, and I never really got an answer to my question, but
How long have y'all
please tell
been,
me there's not going to be another huge number.
how long have y'all been just talking about this on staff? Is this the last 6 weeks, or is this the last 7 or 8 months?
No, we've been addressing this issue for the last 2 years. Since Cogsdale, since we tried to embark with the
We've been
e-procure.
trying to improve our financial statements for a long time. We have actually had demos on this particular product with Microsoft over the last 6 months, probably 4 to 6 months, that we've been actively engaged with Microsoft for this particular product. But we've been trying to figure out a solution for quite some time. And I think I've brought to you for the last 3 or 4 budgets, trying to do our budget on an Excel spreadsheet is unbelievable. And I would be glad for you to spend some time with me when Marcus does the budget on Excel, and just when I think I got it, they say, oops, you know, this link didn't work or something, and I'm pulling my hair out. I was flabbergasted by the amount as well. This is not my area of expertise, so I'm depending on Marcus and Jet to provide the proper foundation.
If I may add, that there are other vendors out there, and one of the vendors that we really, really would like is close to 6, 7, maybe even 8, depending on the configuration. I personally implemented Tyler Technologies Munis Financials and the price tag for the clerk of courts, where we had a $40 million operating budget. We had another $30 million in fines and forfeitures, and another $30 million in trusts. And that product cost us $500,000, and that was just for financials.
So what I'm trying to figure out is, do we keep trying to piece things together instead of getting what we need to quit trying to drive him crazy and drive y'all crazy, so that we can get to where we need to be and be done with it, instead of
The solution.
Right.
If it costs $500,000 or $600,000 to get this solution, to get it done and fixed, so that we're...
Marcus, every
Yes, ma'am.
department's on the same system, right?
Yes.
And so in other words, when you divide the cost, it goes back to against each department?
Well, it does indirectly through the cost allocation.
All right, so you can show that when we do the budget?
Well,
I know that
I'm
the
still waiting to
police,
hear, is this the
the
major
short
dollars, is this gonna fix what Doug just mentioned that we're going to? You think we're-
provided, okay, what we have looked at with Microsoft, what was demonstrated to us is a comprehensive solution that will address the budget, the financial reporting, the e-procure, the automating the payables solution. This solution, in our view, will address the concerns and needs that we have, and we do not anticipate going out for additional products or services after this. Because this has pretty much everything that an accounting department could want. Well,
But is there something more that you want that's out there
no,
that's...
no. At this point,
Would-
this is it, between the 367 that's allocated here, plus an 100 set aside in next year's budget for contingencies. This will, in our view, I'll go out on a limb here, we'll lock it down. We are, or will, issue a formal request for proposal for implementation services. So that may gain us some leverage, though I'm not sure where the numbers are going to fall out. This
Okay.
is a preliminary estimate on the professional services based on Microsoft's relationships.
Mr. Chairman, I heard some happy words in there that make me comfortable.
Where does this leave the scrap metal account?
I'm sorry, say again?
Where would this leave the scrap metal account balance
I think it leaves about 88,000, sir.
remaining?
And where was your intention to use the $200,000 before?
It wasn't.
You're just sitting there. Oh, Bill?
This was important enough that we agreed that, we can use account for a number of things, but as far as the overall umbrella, could be, I personally thought it was a good idea to get So, we still have some money left in, but it seems like a good process.
Will it make life so much more simple that you potentially won't need additional personnel in the future or anything like that?
It will make our life simple, though we're not looking forward to the next 6 months.
The implementation part.
Thank you.
All right.
Call the
Did you guys have any other?
I don't think so. Did you get a second?
Yes.
We did.
Okay.
We did. All right, have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The department thanks you.
Don't surprise us.
You earned your money tonight.
Again.
Okay, item number 6, consider approval, ratification, and acceptance of executed SunTrust documents to authorize the chairperson and secretary to execute and deliver to SunTrust the standard banking resolutions in the form presented and accompanying banking agreements.
I move we approve.
I'll
A
second.
motion and a second, any questions?
Are we ready to go?
Yeah.
Guess we have
Thanks.
to be.
Everybody's happy?
Guess we have to be.
Y'all all ready for SunTrust?
All right. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item number 7, consider approval to award negotiated bid and construction contract to Georgia Development Partners, LLC for the Oak Hill Cemetery Stormwater Wetland BMP in the amount of $148,999.38. Dr. Keller will address.
I've got a question. We did a project here within the last couple of years of mitigation and work on the big ditch/creek there. That didn't fix it all. This is in addition.
This is in cemetery. You're going to start seeing these come once a year in each one of the basins, either Cabin Creek, Potato Creek, or Shoal Creek for our watershed implementation plan.
So this is entirely separate than
Yes,
what...
sir. It's up, if you know where new Crouch's place is off East Solomon Street. It's that ditch that looks like somebody, World War II, blew up over there. And we're going to put in a BMP there to keep some of the sediment going to Potato Creek. But you will see one of these annually on here. Next year will be A.Z. Kelsey.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a
Second.
motion, have a second. Any other questions? Saw you managed to negotiate at 62 cents below budget, so you have big plans with the 62 cents?
It's a hubba.
Marcus will get it.
Yeah, Marcus,
Marcus.
he'll snag it up, just like the scrap metal.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item number 8, consider for approval the purchase and installation of the golf course driving range net to golf range netting in the amount of $63,800 and amend the budget accordingly. Dr. Keller will address.
If y'all recall, we had the first ice storm. The wind came across the top of the ravine up there and snapped the poles. The poles were old poles, but there was pretty good wind load up there, and we got a check from the insurance company from Germa to pay for it. All we're doing is putting it back, and Bill's going to put up new poles this year, so hopefully the wind will hold them up longer.
I move we approve.
Second. Have a motion and a second.
This is another reason to close the golf course.
But
It's
insurance is paying for it. Tomorrow.
Did the insurance pay us more than that actual amount?
No, sir. We're going to be about $349 short
All right.
when it comes to the poles.
Add
I'll take that
62
62
to that,
cents and
yeah.
apply it towards that.
To that.
All right, did you get a
Okay.
second?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
All those in favor, please raise your hand. Against?
Opposed?
All right. That was 5-1.
5-1.
Okay, item number 9. Consider a bid for the boring of Georgia Highway 362 for the 1888 mill project to Crawford Grading and Pipeline, Inc. in the amount of $78,835 for the Water and Wastewater Department of the Public Works Utilities Department. Dr. Keller.
Yeah, that'd be me. This is in conjunction to the 1888 mills. On our part, it's outside the IP grant. And what we're doing is upsizing the line to some of it's failed, a couple manholes wore out, and we're going to make sure that we deliver that to Shoal Creek according to plan.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, have a motion, have a second. Have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous.
You made my day with fligot pumps.
That's right. Consider approval to purchase the flight pumps and control panel for Lift Station 8 from Xylem Water Solutions USA in the amount of $29,585.45 for the 1888 Mills project. Approval to move $29,585.45 to water operating cash from capacity recovery fee cash reserve and amend the budget accordingly.
What we're doing is we're buying the pump, saves the sales tax, and then we have to put them on order. It's an 8-week lead time, and we have to have 1888 up and running by September 15th. So we're going ahead and buying the pumps and moving forward.
Question.
Okay,
Sir.
motion. Second.
We had over $2 million in the capacity recovery fee, but we're putting that towards...
We have
But it was going
2.483 right
Shoal
now.
Creek, right, ready to Potato Creek treatment plant. We're part of,
It's
wasn't
going
part
to
of
Shoal. It's going to Shoal.
but wasn't the sewer capacity recovery fund in the Potato Creek
No, sir, it's
expansion?
for all, for any wastewater rehab or sewer improvements to the system.
But in terms of your budget for Potato Creek, didn't you list part of the money?
You did. Part of that was from the capacity recovery fee. For the
That's
Potato
correct,
Creek
sir.
project.
You're
Yeah,
showing
I'm
the
sorry.
balance is will be $426,000. So we've already spent part of that.
We spent
But-
some of it, correct.
It was about 3.1 million or 2 point.
We have 2.473 and change.
And 62 cents.
Okay. Thank you. Call the question.
Okay, any other questions? And we have motion and second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item number 11, consider the purchase of a 2014 F-750 dump truck from Allen Vigil Ford in the amount of $71,975 for the Street Department of the Public Works and Utilities Department.
Yeah, I move we reapprove this, and I'm amazed that the original bidder didn't know they couldn't use the...
I'm going to yield to Central Services, seeing Phil's here and he buys the trucks. Okay.
That's too easy.
No,
No.
no, we're
I
good.
just can't imagine the dealer didn't know they had the state contract permission. Okay, so it's that specific sort of model that they were... All right, well, that makes more sense.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any other questions? All those in favor, please raise your hand.
Thank y'all.
Item number 12, consider approval to declare the following vehicles surplus and advertise for sale on govdeals.com. 2000 Dodge, 1988 Ford, 1990 Chevrolet, and 2000 Toyota.
I move we approve, and with a question, where in the world has a Chevrolet Camaro been all these years?
Kenny's had it at his house. Second, his
Don't
motion.
start rumors.
Just kidding. Where is that Camaro?
Yeah.
Has this thing been running? The Camaro?
That could be our new mayor, our parade.
These are
Let our mayor ride around in that
seized
car in the
vehicles.
parade.
They're not city vehicles, they're seized
Oh,
vehicles.
seized vehicles.
Oh,
We
seized.
have court orders on.
Oh,
We
okay.
missed that word.
Vehicles were seized by court
So
orders.
where are you storing them?
I just thought they were some city vehicle
At the
somewhere. I
police
thought,
department?
where did we ever have a
Either at
Camaro?
the PD, probably at the PD.
Aha, we'll get an
Did we-
answer
did
right now.
I move we approve, I think.
Get out of speaking, but actually, all four vehicles are a result of individual drug investigations. They were
Okay.
seized, most of them in 2013. Court turned them over to us, and they're probably not worth driving, and we're going to go ahead and surplus them out and get rid of them. The maintenance on them would be probably more costly than getting rid of them.
That explains it, because I didn't think we ever had any Rangers or Camaros there on the city.
No, but if we had a Camaro, I'd certainly like to have one.
All right, Mr. Moore made a motion. Do I have a second?
I think I seconded it.
Okay, second. Any other questions? All those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item number 13, consider resolution and letter of support for the Griffin Housing Authority redevelopment initiatives regarding Meriwether Homes.
I move we approve this resolution and support, and Pat,
I'll second.
Have a motion.
our representative on the back down there.
All right. Have a motion and a second. Any other conversation? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous.
This board, this is working out great. You're doing a good job over there.
All right, item number 14, consider for approval a multi-year agreement between the City of Griffin and Sunoco Recycling for the installation of a material sort line to be installed at the City of Griffin Regional Recycling Center, be used for the sorting of recyclable materials.
I read this contract over fairly detailed. It sounds like it's good and gives outs if year to year it doesn't work, but I have one real question, I think. Are we absolutely sure that we have the manpower to make this thing work, and you have a fixed contract with the inmate labor so we don't come up short like we did on the yard waste, can't get inmates?
We will have it under contract. I spoke with Jimmy Sykes at the CI and also with Mr. Wilson. Contractual obligations they will fulfill. The reason we did not, I guess to put it in layman's terms, when they were filling the contract voids first with bodies before they filled ours, but we will have that because we are going to be paying in the budget for a corrections officer. That's in the budget. With that many people, we have to pay for a corrections officer. So if we're going to pay for a corrections officer, we're going to get the number of bodies that we are contractually obligated to.
Sort of an add-on question to that is, there are some fairly onerous rules about working inmates in terms of temperatures and weather conditions, so on.
We
Is that
shouldn't
gonna
have any
foul us up?
problems. I don't foresee any problems and haven't because since we've been working them, other than the cold, we have some climate control for them, on that in that closed area, of course, heaters for the cold, and also for the summertime we have fans and stuff, that blow through there. But as far as air conditioning, a 10,000 square foot three-sided building, we wouldn't do that. But we meet all those minimum standards and shouldn't have a problem.
Okay. I'm going to write this down and remember it.
How does the, I know it had a list of contaminants and things that you had to kind of pre-sort before it even gets to the line.
That's industry standard. It's just language that's put in everything like that. So, and that would be, we wouldn't see any of that basically in a residential waste stream at all. It's basically more for your super industrial waste streams, chemical manufacturers, and different things such as that.
So, things like cat litter are going to be right there on the belt with everything else, and
It'll be pre-sorted. It'll go through a pre-sorting process before it goes to the
You want
dump.
a job?
I'm just trying to picture.
Teach our cats to recycle and.
I just want to picture what that actually looks like, if there is some pre-sorting that goes on, or I was thinking about that the other day as I was
I don't know
dumping
what
out
we've been
cat
drinking
litter.
tonight.
I got nothing.
Okay, all right. Well, if you feel good about it.
No, I'm confident. I think it's going to be I think it's a good marriage. I think it's going to work out real well.
There were some good articles in the GMA newspaper read today about recycling and how communities are really starting to.
A lot of them are. I
Moving.
received a call from the city of Augusta, a newspaper from the city of Augusta. They're really looking into going to emulating our program as far as mandatory, and they're going to be doing a follow-up with that. So we were mentioned throughout the state. We've got a good program. We've just taken it as far as we can really take it with a single sort system, and we've got to be able to parlay that into something, that's going to be advantageous to everyone.
Well, net effect should greatly benefit us, so.
I hope so.
Yeah. All right, did I get a motion on?
I think I moved to approve, if I remember right.
Okay, well, we'll say you did. Was there a second?
I'll second, just
Okay.
double do.
Motion and second. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Item 15, consider the cancellation of the June 24, 2014 City Commission Workshop Meeting and regular meeting due to GMA's annual conference.
Make a motion to approve.
A motion, do I have a second?
Amended June through September.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any other questions for Kenny? I believe we do this every year. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Cynthia, was that it?
Oh,
I guess. Okay, unanimous. Item number 16, consider renewal of office lease with the Wayland Law Firm for suites 520 and 524 of 1 Griffin Center in the total amount of $11,170 per year.
Can we get more?
I move we approve.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, unanimous. Item 17, consider a service agreement between the City of Griffin, Spalding County, and Paragon Consulting Group for the services of Transportation Program Manager for City and County, and amend the budget accordingly.
I make a motion that we approve.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I second.
All right, motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item number 18, consider a memorandum of understanding between the Griffin Spalding County Development Authority, the City of Griffin, and 1888 Mills.
I move we approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions for Kenny? Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item number 19, consider the Section 5311 Public Transportation Agreement for the operation of the Three Rivers Regional Transit System between the City of Griffin and Three Rivers Regional Commission in the amount of $15,193 for FY15.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion approved. Do I have a second? I have a second. All those, any questions or comments? All those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. All right, we'll move into City Manager's report. Kenny?
You probably know by now that we have our first customer in the lakes at Green Valley. We're excited to have, if I can pronounce it, Ashoka Chemical Company, a Japanese chemical company who will have their North American headquarters, so we're excited about having them and the prospects they bring, and I think it's kind of opened the door for some other people, and really excited about what the future holds for the lakes. We had a cleanup at the historic City Hall building on Saturday, had a good crew in there sweating and laboring, and we really got a good bit done. That building, at least the first floor of it, looks quite a bit better, and we hope to have a couple more of those this summer. The park charrette last night at the Welcome Center, we had a good group there, and I think Alvin plans on putting a video online so those that couldn't make it to the charrette could at least see the topics that were discussed, the presentations that were made, and we look forward to that. The good news is we canceled the second meeting in June. The bad news is we may have to have a called meeting on May the 29th. We've had a issue come up, a zoning issue come up, and because of the 15-day requirement. To make a long story short, Square Foot Ministries has scheduled some students to come in for some of their week-long builds, and they have 2 lots that they want to build houses on, and we found out at the last minute that unfortunately these lots are zoned high-density residential instead of low-density through some of this weird zoning of the past. So because we found that out at the last hour, the only way to get them through the process in time for the students who have already scheduled their week to come in and build is to have a very, very quick call meeting on the 29th to approve that rezone.
29th of May?
May the 29th. Yes, and we'll get that notice out, and I apologize for that, but we really appreciate our partners with Square Foot Ministries and what they're trying to do in that neighborhood. So
Thursday morning?
we're trying to, Thursday evening,
Evening.
6 p.m. And it will be very, very quick, I hope, but we really are trying to accommodate them with what they're doing.
Has it already been to P&Z as well, or are we skipping P&Z?
It will go to P&Z Monday. Budget, hope to have you a CD by the end of next week to give you a good ample time to go over it. If all the formulas are working on the Excel spreadsheet, everything should be correct by now, and hopefully we can have that. I'm finishing up the synopsis and the presentation this week, so hopefully we'll have you that CD out next week, and we will discuss that at our next workshop. And I think you made Marcus pretty happy tonight, so I appreciate that. That's all I have.
I thought for a minute he's running for office. We couldn't get an answer.
Drew, do you have anything?
Monday, a week ago, the United States Supreme Court came down with a decision on legislative prayer in this town of Greece, New York case. I put together a summary and sent it out to you all last week, and hope you all had a chance to read it. But I think it's a very favorable decision from a local government standpoint. There are a couple of small changes we might want to look towards in the future that were pointed out by one of the justices in the process. Basically, it's very favorable, and I think will help resolve a lot of the issue around that quite emotional issue, which has faced local governments for years.
Okay. All right, Commissioner McCord? You good? Commissioner Moore?
Yes, at our evening at the archives a week or so ago, we had about 40 people come, a good participation and a good program by Cindy. The archive has grown considerably and more stuff is coming in regularly. I'd very much like to see us move the archive down and put it with the museum so that she could handle both. Our museum is a frustrating institution because it's sort of unmanned. Stuff comes, stuff goes. Nobody knows what's going on, and we don't have anybody specific in charge. And I'd like us to seriously consider the idea of moving the archive down to what's now the banquet room at the Welcome Center, have the archive and the museum together downstairs at the Welcome Center, so we have a true tourist attraction at Welcome Center with all this information. We are not renting the big room only rarely. It's almost, with the little income it's coming from, it's more aggravation for the folks there than it is income. So I think we could make a real nice operation to have archive, museum, Welcome Center all together for our visitors to our city and work on the tourism angle. So this is something I think we need to consider doing, and I think that's the end of it. Thank you.
Commissioner Tom?
I would agree with Commissioner Morrow. Mr. Smith and I had mentioned this several weeks ago that perhaps we ought to make this a true museum and repository of our past records and everything. So.
In the same place?
Yeah.
Do it in the same place?
Do it, well, we take
I mean,
it.
down
Yeah,
here.
at the Welcome Center.
Take it to the Welcome Center.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think ideally, the old city hall would make a great place to put all that, but that
We don't
might or
have
might
that
not
yet.
happen in
Yeah.
my lifetime.
We won't use that as our measure, okay? But I think, it will consolidate everything in one location. So, but other than that, no, I'm delighted, and I thank you for the vote to represent you all at MEAG, and I will carry forth with Bill, and we'll protect our money.
Commissioner Wood?
I got a couple of things. I had a bunch of questions to ask Mr. Smith about the transportation deal between Brian, Anthony, and the city and the county. I think I kind of vented all my frustrations to him. So I'm not going to attack you tonight, Brian. But out of that, I kind of have a concern because what I realize is that we don't have a policy that we go by when we do bids. And the county has just recently redone their policies about how the bid process and when they're over a certain amount, so that local people and even subcontractors, if it's over a certain amount, would be able to get some of the work. And I think that's something that we need to consider doing so that we can keep some of these monies locally when we have those kind of jobs. So I'd like to see us schedule that on a future workshop or something.
I think that's a good idea, look at our procurement policies and just make sure they're what we want to be. I think that's a good idea.
Okay. That's it.
Okay. Well, I have two thank yous and one issue I want to bring up. First of all, going back to what Kenny said, I do want to thank Kenlon for organizing the Old City Hall cleanup. It was fun, and I appreciate a number of city staff getting out there. Alvin was out there, and Wanda was out there, and Kenny, and I appreciate that. It looked good when we left, relatively good, I guess, is what you'd say, when we...
You slide down the pole?
When we left, I did not.
Did anybody slide down the pole?
Hopefully not. They could still be there. The second thank you also goes to Kenlon and Alvin and Kenda for setting up the park charrette, and I learned charrette means intensive design session. So I thought that was enjoyable as well, and I appreciate them putting that together. The issue I want to bring up and throw out for consideration and review, I think Commissioner Todd could probably relate to me from last year. I had a couple of calls relating to the line services insurance letter that went out. Yeah. And to be honest, it doesn't make me particularly comfortable effectively endorsing the company. And I know we kind of talked about that a couple of years ago in the precedent, and I know we were trying to get it out there in the public as more of a realization that the line from your house to the street is not on us, but I think that's a little bit of a slippery slope for us to be endorsing a company in general. And when it's the chair's responsibility to sign on those, I'm getting a call like I'm the salesperson on this thing, and I don't particularly want to be the salesperson on this. So I'd like for us to reconsider that and move away from that, and because I feel like their service, just like every single other service, people are exposed to the dangers of companies coming in and either doing a good job or not doing a good job, but I just don't think that's necessarily a realm that I think we should be getting into. So I don't know how the others feel about that.
Well, it was explained to us by Brent when and you can understand, I've gotten those calls too, and I've told everyone it's an insurance policy, but we were told that they could select their own plumber.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
we're told what?
In that sense, it's just an insurance policy, and if they have, and they have subscribed to it, do y'all know how many people have subscribed? Right, and it's paid in full according to what we've told them. So, and after I've explained it that way, Ryan, I didn't have any more complaints. I said, it's insurance. Either you want it or you're not. It depends on how much your bill would be. But if you take it, then you don't have to pay. You pay your premium, and then if you have that interruption, you call the plumber of your choice, notify the city. You notify the city, call the plumber of your choice, and you don't have to put out any more money. And if you're lucky, you've only paid too much premium.
Yeah, but it still goes back to a basic
Oh, I
concept,
agree
so
with
it's an
you.
endorsement. I mean,
Yeah, I understand
they
what
can
you're
do
saying.
the same thing and promote that they're part of National League of Cities, and they can get a testimonial from Brent if they want to, if Brent has favorable things to say about them. But it's the same as...
they go that route.
It's the same
I
as...
did throw your letter in the trash today.
Yeah, it's the same as a tree company. It's the same as almost any other kind of company, plumbing, whatever it is, that's providing a service. And it's a matter of where do we want to cross that line as a city and actually effectively endorsing and almost doing their job for them. They put it on our city letterhead, and they sign my name like I'm trying to ask people or remind people that this insurance is available, and I don't really...
Would you give us a report next time on the amount of people who've taken advantage of it? I think it would be interesting to see how many did.
And if there are any complaints about it.
I think Drew is the one who convinced us that we could do this.
It's not insurance.
You did.
It's actually not, well,
This is the maintenance.
I told you, the first time it was presented by Brent, I had my reservations on it.
I still do.
And then I did talk to
Brant was the
people-
cheerleader for it, and I'm...
I did talk to the people from National League of Cities, and, they provided us a little bit clearer explanation of what the program does. Now, I think there's somewhat of a disconnect in the fact that NLC itself does not provide the service. They contract with another company out of, I think, Pennsylvania or somewhere, who actually provides the service, but they're not an insurance company.
They're not?
They're not.
What is it?
It's basically just the service.
Entrepreneur.
But they're not registered with the
Well, the
State
American
Insurance
Life Commission,
Commission.
I
We
mean,
told
they
you all that at the time.
advertise it like an
Well,
insurance
I-
policy that you pay a premium on.
Right.
Well, there are a lot of-
I equate it with that because that's exactly what you're doing.
About a year or so ago.
Well, we may put that on
Put that on in the record.
we may put that on next agenda and just see how that goes, but we can get the information back.
Well, we probably take another look at it.
Okay.
All right.
Make a motion to adjourn, please.
I